All right, so you guys have known each other a little bit. Talk about the first deal, right? You guys have both aligned. You had some sort of conversation somewhere saying, hey, let's give this a shot. Walk us through that first deal.
Yeah, well, walk us through even like how you guys have said, hey, because I think it's important here because as some of our listeners are trying to scale, partnerships are a consideration. Like, what do those conversations look like? You guys didn't say, hey, let's do 80 homes. You said, hey, I have an idea. I have this resource. Talk to us about like what each of you brought to that partnership and why you guys thought that 1 + 1 = 3 in a scenario like this.
To be very honest, I mean, I also want to give credit where it's due. It was originally three of us. It was Fernando's brother, Miguel, who was, just kind of taking a break from our company since that point. But, it was all three of us kind of coming in together and, we had the same common goal because when Fernando worked for his developer employer, he was doing new construction, which is why, and his ex-employer would hire me to do the drawings. And that's how we even got to know each other in the newer construction space. But when we figured, he was like kind of in the last rung there, and he was like, I want to do something on my own. That's when we kind of, it was a good meeting of minds that he was mentally ready, and so was I. And, we figured we'd just, we didn't know how this first project would come around. And coincidentally, one of my 𝗵𝗶𝗵𝗃 architects that most people know, a client came in and he was like, wanted a new construction and they didn't have a DC. And we were like, hey, you want to try us out and see if it would work for you? Because they were developers trying to work on a spec home. And we figured that would be a great opportunity for us to kind of like get our feet wet without spending a lot of money. And we started the project and we get an attorney letter immediately from the neighbor's attorney. Like, you guys cost our foundation to go bad. And it was like a huge gut check right away that this is not going to be as easy as we expected it was going to be. So from then we moved on to different projects. But, one thing that we all agreed, both, Fernando and I agreed on was that we knew that this was going to be difficult, but we also enjoyed it. And that's why we keep doing it again and again and again, is we actually enjoy the new construction, single family home.
And in the process, what we quickly realized is nobody is really doing what we're doing, where we're the one-stop shop. You have the architect, the expediter, plans, permits, and then you have the GC. So we figured out quickly that nobody's really doing that. And if you want to go buy a home, if you want to go build your home, who do you call? You go online, you find a GC, then you find an architect, you got to piece them all together. And then some of the GCs, they're very hard to communicate with. So we saw early on what all the issues were. And we're like, we're going to find a way to do this better. And yes, we made all the mistakes on the first one, like any other business, right? Every business on the planet. And we quickly started learning and evolving what not to do and what to do better. And what we found was over communication with the clients is great. GCs do not like to communicate. Builders, they don't like to talk or buyer anything. We communicate all up front, and we find that it really, really works. So there's no surprises for the buyer.
So you guys carried, between the two of you, two of the largest pieces that need to be experts in this process. Like that's where your guy, I hate the word synergy. That's where the collaboration came through, and you guys said this makes sense. And I see people all the time. They're like, yeah, no, I know finance, and then we know nothing else, and they become partners, and then they screw everything up, and they ultimately hate each other because whatever reason. I think the complementing Tom, you have a partner that's a construction expert, and I have a partner as well too, and I have our third partner actually on deals today is a finance expert. So we got construction, finance, and whatever I'm the expert in, and me. But I just want to point that out to you because partnerships is something that is such a way to scale, and when you're bringing. I said it before, when you bring skill sets together, it's not 1 + 1 = 2, it's 1 + 1 = 3 or 5 or 10 even, where you're able to truly 10x what you're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I attest to that 100% because all the success we have achieved so far, we would not have done any of, even a small portion of it without each other's roles and how we performed in those roles. So it's easy to have a partner because you sign a paper to become a partner, but then delivering on the partnership is another completely different thing. And that's where I feel like both of us shine, because we're not constantly trying to like get into each other's businesses, but also we are, in the sense that we are able to like talk honestly with each other and, bring in a different perspective on every decision.